Live. What's good, everybody? Once again, from the Ashes We Rise, Black Phoenix Podcast, MC, TR, kicking it with y'all for one more week. What's good, TR?
What's going on, MC? This has been a very interesting month, and I think we got a lot of things to kind of discuss and get off our chest. So,
Yeah, let's get to it, man. I don't even want to waste no time because we got a lot of topics.
hey, you're telling me. Let's see. Let's get to Cam Newton. The crazy thing with Cam Newton, he actually had his TV show canceled recently. I didn't realize he had a TV show on BET, and it was called 106 in Sport or something like that. I thought that was kind of interesting.
It's funny that you mentioned that, TR, because this video is allegedly the reason why that happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the funny thing about Cam, he lost an endorsement because he said something about women. It was the yogurt people. It started with the D or something, but he said something about women, pissed him off, and he lost the sponsorship. I'm like, are you paying attention? Like, has anybody ever given you like media training? Like, there are some things like when you're in the public eye like that and you got endorsements like that, you can't be talking like this. Like, this is crazy. He uttered those words, but I'll be curious to see what he says about this.
I said it before and I'll say it again. If you're trying to be a celebrity, you cannot criticize the big four. And we always talk about the big four. It's women, it's the alphabet community, it's the Jewish community, and I throw China in there. A lot of people exchange China for something else. But if you're trying to be a celebrity, those are the big four. They, for some reason, are above criticism. I have no idea why.
Yeah, pretty much Asian community. I don't know. I think a lot of people are. Somebody was talking about this, and essentially that no one is really afraid of them. They've just made an example. A lot of people, and people just are afraid because of what they might do. But if you look at like some of the people that have been made examples, I mean, Kyrie was made an example, but no one else has really, did anything close to what Kyrie did after what happened with that link and what he said about, or he didn't say anything about Jewish people. Actually, it was just they got pissed that he shared the link, and then I don't know what happened with Kanye West. That was a whole nother situation. But I don't think YouTube really cracks down on people saying or having criticism towards Israel or the Jewish community. So
there seems to be more of it in all these social media spaces, more than I've ever seen before. There seems to be a change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's play the clip.
Do you have any platonic relationships in your life right now?
With a woman?
Yeah.
No.
Is that by choice?
I'm not about to be around no woman platonically. Listen.
We gotta unpack this, Cam. Why?
Because I'm not about to play them type of games.
Is it self-control?
Call it what you want.
I'm asking.
Who's the guy asking him that question?
I couldn't even tell you.
Man, the guy asked him the question, set Cam up with a very poor question. He knows the answer, and he gave the impression that he can't control himself. It's never you can't control yourselves around women. It's about everything else. Whether you did something or allegedly did something is what happens. Or you did something that was consensual at the time that's no longer consensual because they changed their mind.
Yeah, that definitely was a setup question. We agree there.
It may be self-control.
I'm asking.
If she fine,
oh my God,
I'm not about to have her around playing like I don't think that she's attractive.
Is it possible to think someone's attractive and still behave yourself?
Yes.
Do you have control of them thoughts?
Yes. But I'm not about to play them games.
What game is it?
The game of saying, hey, we're not about to be friends. I don't have good-looking women that's friends around me. So no.
Just all the do you have any ugly ones?
Man, it's wild he's saying this cross-legged, but I don't understand why they went down this route. They could have easily said, hey, who's the dude that had that issue with women? he said he won't be around women anymore. Who was that dude? The singer dude.
Take your pick. There's a whole bunch of them. I was going to bring up Kyler Murray.
The one recently, the R&B singer dude. I want to say Mario, but it's not Mario. It's Jason Derulo. There we go. He just had this conversation about being around women, and it was more or less a situation related to a false allegation. And I don't know why Cam didn't go that route. That would have been probably the best route. And then secondly, if you are in a relationship, I don't know what his relationship status is, but also, and he didn't win. He didn't have to play this card though, but he could have said like, hey, I don't want to be around attractive women because attractive women are always trying to get on me. And that makes my wife uncomfortable, makes me uncomfortable. So I don't even mess with it. I mean, Cam, he's rich and he's a former athlete and he has, a little bit of clout. And you're telling me the best answer you can come up with is that you can't control yourself. They control themselves. It doesn't matter. And he's making it sound like it needs to be an attractive woman that he would get down with. Like, you know how many men have lost their kingdoms to average women? That's no diss to average women. Like, if we're gonna say attractive, fine, but don't act like you're talking about nines and up. Plenty of men have fallen to like a 5, a 4, even a 2.
I'm gonna take a different approach here, TR. I'm gonna tell you where Cam is dead wrong and where Cam is absolutely.
Well, before you do
right.
that, I mean, am I right or wrong? Like, let me know.
I mean, I'm not disputing that women have played a part in bringing out a lot of different men, but where it gets confusing for me, TR, is women. Y'all gotta make up your mind. What do y'all want? This man is openly admitting that he has problems controlling himself around a certain type of woman, and instead of being a creep about it, he's doing risk mitigation. He's like, look, I know I'm going to mess up having you in my circle. So you can't be in my circle. We're not talking about hiring for a job. We're not talking about giving somebody an opportunity to bless themselves economically. We're talking about his personal circle. This is risk mitigation. I just mentioned Kyler Murray. This reminds me of a story where he had a masseuse, a woman masseuse. She was dressing provocatively to the point where it was tempting him a little bit. And instead of him being a creep about it, he's like, look, I got these issues with control. This is a little bit tempting. I think I'm gonna fall back a little bit.
Is that
Now,
Kyler Murray?
Yeah, it happened to him a couple years ago. Yeah.
I don't remember.
And it was a story that kind of flew under the radar locally here in AZ, but it happened. And there were some women who felt a type of way about it. But for some reason, we live in this society where eventually I'm going to answer the question, because the real question is, can men and women have platonic relationships? I'm going to get to that in a minute, but I just wanted to use that as an example. He's controlling his urges and he's minimizing the risk in his life. I don't understand how anybody can knock that.
If that's the case, then every guy that whose wife maybe is attractive should never have his wife around a lot of these athletes then, or some of these celebrities, because you're telling me that and I get it. A lot of these guys, sometimes they can't control themselves, in the sense of they know you have a relationship and they still go for it. They still go after it. For some reason, men love another man's wife or girlfriend, or for whatever reason. It is what it is. Steve Smith, shout out. But I think for a lot of people, I don't know, the control, I think most men do have self-control, especially if you're an athlete, because you're telling me you're still at a point in your life where you still have trouble being around attractive women, where you can't control yourself. So you're telling me you're gonna simp out? You're telling me you're gonna assault? I'm trying to give Cam some credit here, because I don't think that's the case. I think he thought this was going to be a funny response, and if it is connected to him losing his endorsement deal, or I mean his show on 106 and Sport, which I didn't realize they were even trying to have a sports show on BET, and I kind of heard something that it was because of low ratings or whatever. But if no one never heard of it, then you're never going to break into that space, because a lot of people are not going to BET to watch sports. So they're going to have to try again or find a better team. But
Yeah.
Cam and this guy, they should have answered this question in a different way though, because I'm assuming Cam generally interviews successful people. So Chad, if you know who that guy is, drop it in the comments. But if you are successful, most men that are successful, especially in NFL and sports and celebrities, they don't usually have these problems. They don't have these problems. They're around women all the time, and it's not attractive. They're not always going to be around attractive women every single time. Generally, it's women that are like average women that you're going to be around majority of the time. And you're probably, if you have an issue, or I mean, don't make it sound like it has to be a pretty woman. That sounds stupid. It just has to be a woman, and if that woman is around you long enough, you might do something stupid. But apparently, he doesn't have enough control.
Yeah, the qualifier of her being pretty is definitely stupid. I agree with that. And to be clear, and let's be clear, you said it, I'm gonna co-sign it. Most men are not like this. They show a lot of restraint and a lot of control, and we don't get enough credit for doing that because y'all like to focus on the ones that fumble. And also, TR, there's a reason why Kevin Samuels never included athletes and celebrities in his high value men
Right.
list. They make judgment calls like this all the time. I mean, we talked about stories over and over and over again. So I
Right.
want to be mindful of that. So, but ultimately, here's the question: can a man and a woman have a platonic friendship? And that's
Sing-
for me. For me, that's a hard question to answer, and I'm gonna tell you
Single,
why.
single or married?
Does it matter?
Yeah, it does matter. Yeah.
Let's come back to that in a minute. But let me give you my married man perspective. Um, Friendships require some level of access and intimacy. I'm going to have conversations with friends and give them access to personal things about me that the average person would never see, right? I
I
don't
forgot.
care. I don't care what type of person you are. And I don't know why women don't want to admit this. And I know a lot of men who would. There's not unless you're like a beta simp or something, there's not a married man walking this planet that would be comfortable with his lady having late night conversations, doing late night hangouts, doing one-on-one hangouts and solo dates and stuff like that with another dude. I don't care. You can call it insecure, you can call it whatever you want to, but the fact of the matter is a lot of you women would feel the exact same way. I don't know why we deny it and play like that. That's my married perspective. What say you, TR?
No, I agree with that too. If you're talking to a guy that late, he is definitely in the friend zone or trying to get in your pants. So I definitely agree with that.
There's a video that went viral last year. It basically they were interviewing a lot of women who had male best friends, and the guy was basically like calling you right now and telling you wanting to come over and clap your cheeks and see how he responds. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
9 times out of the 10, the guys was like, "What time?
And
Let's
women know.
go."
Women know this.
Yeah,
Women know.
yeah.
They try to act funny. The dude he's interviewing is Dimitri Wiley, and I guess he's a rapper. I ain't never heard him.
Okay.
So
Here's another thing, TR. I think we use this friendship term a little bit too loosely. I have a
oh, yeah.
whole bunch of people I'm cool with, but I have very few friends, right?
Yeah.
And I'm cool with a whole lot of women, but I know if I need somebody at 2 a.m. in an emergency and in a jam, I'm calling one of the fellas that's in my circle.
Yeah, somebody can actually do something.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I'm not saying there's not value in having women in your circle. They can give you insights that you probably normally can't see. But you got to be careful with this platonic friendships and best friend talk. I know for a fact that most like friendships break up when one or the other gets married and they take it seriously. It happens more often than not.
Well, the other thing is you have to be careful with that stuff at work. Like, and obviously Cam, I mean, maybe a little bit more post his football career, but Cam ain't had to worry about corporate America because you say anything that's out of pocket, you send a risky or a thirsty, DM on the company computer. Hey, could you come into the office real quick? We got to talk to you about something. And then you watching sexual harassment videos for the next 2-3 hours, or the whole company is like people. Most men know how to do this. I just don't like how Cam answered his question though, because he made it he brought it down to like it's just pure lust, and it's like Cam, you have and I know somebody had mentioned that Cam had 9 kids about self-control. Cam could have had like 100 kids or whatever it is. Like I think there is a little bit of self-control there, only in a sense for Cam because he can afford those kids. So I don't think it's one of those things he's trying to populate the world, because if he was trying to do that, he'd have 20, 30 kids like some of these basketball players. A small percentage of basketball players have done this, but for the most part, though, I get that Cam is trying to be funny here, though. But I just think I just think he went wrong. He went about this wrong route, and this is some of the conversations that hurt men in the long run. Though I think we're done with. Are we done with this? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these are some of the things that hurt men in the long run, though, because when women say, "Hey, we can't be around men in certain ways," because men are always trying to F us, and to some degree, that is true. But for most men, they know how to be professional. I've worked with tons of professional men and women and have not had issues. I'm not saying there's never been any issues, but for the most part, there hasn't been any issue. And so for a lot of people who are in a corporate America, you already know the play. You already know the game. I worked in warehouses and people, hey, I saw women, hey, walking by, because you work in a warehouse, you ain't paying attention. I mean, you might lose a digit, you might lose a finger, somebody might get hurt. Like, a lot of stuff is a little bit more important to try and get to this little shorty's number.
Yeah.
So
even when I was single, TR, I never played where I worked. Like that it never ends well. Like you talking about messing up your bag, depending on how it goes. But again, I just want to call out, most men they can't control themselves. And honestly, the most dangerous man is one that can't be controlled by looks and box. Those are the most dangerous ones.
yeah, I agree with that too. I think it's unfortunate too, because there are some men that, due to their circumstances, maybe they wanted to get with someone, or maybe she let them on, or whatever the case is. Yeah, I've seen men just crash out because the person got married, or the person is interested in someone else. And that's where, a lot of men have to, if he had said something like that, I mean, I'd get it a little bit more, though, because it's like, you can't control, like, we've seen women crash out on guys. We saw the whole thing with Joy Taylor. Like, a whole TV station a whole TV show got taken off the air, and oh boy, got fired. And the guy that, was alleged to have been, trying to proposition Joy or be a part of it, he got fired. And so, yeah, this is how the stuff gets messy. And this is a lot of times people don't realize, you have to have self-control. Men demonstrate self-control all the time, especially when people do stupid shit. How many times yeah, when people do stupid stuff, you're like, you just need to be punched, because you didn't realize this is like a really dumb thing that you did. And that goes for everybody, because everybody's always doing something stupid.
And for the record, this ain't the first time that Cam has almost been canceled because of something he said to a woman. I don't know if you remember this, but when he played for Carolina, he was being interviewed after a game by a woman. He made a comment that, wow, that's amazing that you as a woman know so much about football.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. It was the yogurt thing.
Yeah.
Dan play or something. I don't know. But you're right. That's the exact conversation. He said wow or something. And
yeah.
I was like, Cam. And they all went after him because of that. So yeah. He should know. Again, I know he got his podcast and everything, but he should know better.
Yeah. And this is my final thought on this. If you do have a friendship with the woman, and you find yourself sugarcoating your thoughts and your beliefs, that's not your friend, bro. That's not your friend at all.
Oh, I'm going a step further. Most men do not have friendships with women. That's just people you haven't fucked.
Oh, man.
That's exactly what it is. People you haven't fucked. Like, if you're saying that you have a friendship, like, it's one thing if you're friends with the husband and all you guys are friends, and even then that sometimes can be a little suspect. But if it's just some chick you just call up and you guys have these in-depth conversations, even late night conversations, might be looking at it a different way, especially if that friend is attractive. If a friend is attractive, then we're having a whole different conversation. If she's not attractive, then, you know, it could be a 50-50.
I'm saying we having this conversation, TR, and I am the only male in my department. The only one. And if I'm being honest, all of my coworkers are somewhat attractive. It's tough. It really is. But we control ourselves and we keep it moving because the bag will not be fumbled. We've seen it too many times.
Hey, the bag is getting fumbled by a lot of these idiots that can't control their Johnson. So,
thanks.
All right, we are going to jump to another topic, relationship. And let me get this queued up here. Yeah, this one is going to enjoy this one.
Let's go.
All right.
Man who is willing to take care of you, the kids, and the household, but has no ambition worth staying with.
When you say take care of, what do you mean?
He pays all the bills. He take care of the kids. He step in.
How he do that with no ambition?
No, he got money. I want more.
You know what?
He's complacent.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the year when the job market is cooked, when the housing market is cooked, when people are walking away from their children, you got somebody at home that is paying your bills. He is taking care of you, and he is taking care of your kids, and you are figuring out, should I leave him? Are you cool?
Unfortunately, for a lot of men, there are so many women telling them you have to be more ambitious. And it's because they want the ambition to look like what they want it to look like. But his ambition is waking up every day and going to work, waking up every day and showing up for my children, showing up for my home. Like, that's just as ambitious. You know how ambitious you have to be when you are going through depression. Your girl is telling you you need to do more, and then you don't feel like you're good enough, but she don't know the mental and emotional and spiritual battles that you have and how you still trying to show up for your home. That's ambition, baby. Take a moment, read, I think it's 1 Timothy 5:8. Because what it talks about is a man who neglects his home is the same as a man who denies his faith. This man is taking care of his home. There is faith and grace in that. He is being provisional. He's still leading. So we have to acknowledge that, because if not, you're going to lose that. Like, that's a gem, baby.
I make my own money. I make more than him.
Ooh.
Right?
And you said he pays all the bills?
Yeah.
And you make more money?
Oh, man.
Man, get security.
You mentioned that you make more money than him, and I want you to know that was not done by mistake. That was a systemic thing that was put into place so that the black woman can be elevated to start looking at their men like they're not doing enough.
No.
It is very intentional, the fact that you make more money, and even though your man is showing up for you, you start looking at him for like, why can't you do more?
The fact that this man is covering the
I
bill.
can't listen to this chick no more, man. Stop this, TR. I'm sick of this chick. And I know they trying to be.
Things on
I can't do this. No,
so
I'm
that you
good.
can elevate. Think about it. What you make becomes almost just yours. What you choose to do, you have the freedom to pivot and pivot.
That's a gem. That's a gem.
I didn't listen to that last 30 seconds, so you go ahead.
You know, the way that she was smiling, like, it takes a lot to like go to some of these panel shows, and then you get up there and you know you're going to be famous, and you know people are going to talk about you. You know you're going to have a viral moment. You get up there. It reminds me of the Steve Harvey people too. They do that on the Steve Harvey show, and when they say some silly stuff like that, and they're trying to convince you, that tells me that most of the men out there, you are a paycheck away from losing your girl. You are a paycheck away from some guy getting access to your girl. You are really by a thread. You can do everything in that relationship correctly, and you could provide for her kid. You know, it could be a step situation. It could be a, you guys could have a kid together too as well. And you can be a great husband or a boyfriend or whatever, and it's not going to matter no matter what. And sometimes that happens on the men's side, but for the most part, we see a lot of women leaving favorable situations, regardless of why they're staying there. They'll leave the situation, they'll air the guy out because he doesn't make enough or she wants a certain lifestyle. And for a lot of men out there, they want to be the next man up in that situation. They're like, I can take care of her. And I don't understand for why men will not wake up for stuff like this. They need you more than you need them. That is, that's another Kevin Samuel-ism. That is never, I have yet to see that in a relationship. I have yet to see that be untrue. When shit hits the fan, when somebody's trying to break in, the man of the house is going to be there to protect you. We need some stuff moved. You're going to always call him to move that stuff. We need some stuff fixed at the house. You're going to call him to fix the stuff at the house. He's going to be the one to take care of the house and give you protection. And he's paying all your bills, and you're saying he makes more and you make more than him. That tells me he's working multiple jobs. And she doesn't appreciate it. And it takes men have to realize these things that you're all doing, it doesn't fucking matter. Women don't care about stuff like that. They have never cared about any of that stuff. I mean, we saw Shannon Sharp get, pretty much lose a bag over a 20-something. Shannon Sharp is like a 3-time Super Bowl champ. Is 3 times or 4 time. I think it's 4 times, actually. He won 2 with the Ravens, right?
No, he's 3. 2 with the Broncos, 1 with the Ravens.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, 3-time Super Bowl champ and the Hall of Fame. She didn't care about any of that stuff. She's like, hey, $50K per cheek. That's what I care about. They do not care about all these great things that you're doing, and they will play in your face, and they will also want to leave the relationship 3, 4, 5 years ago. And they're like, I finally got the courage. So dragging you along the way until their situation improved. This is a goddamn mess. This video should be going mega viral. We should already know who this person is. And we should be hearing a story time from her husband or her boyfriend saying, hey, I'm glad they played that clip. I found out I was sleeping with the enemy.
Yeah, that all sounds nice and great, but typically I'm the one that's being too nice. You're being too nice right now.
How am I being nice?
Nah, you gave her just a, let me just get my take. Women are so used to disrespecting men that it's normalized. That video was disrespectful.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
was mad disrespectful. You put their financial situation out there, and you put it out there that you have already in your mind somewhat built an exit strategy and you want to get out.
They always have an exit strategy.
This chick is ungrateful. He pays all the bills, and for the record, she said he makes good money. So he's not broke. Whatever he's doing, he's not broke. She said he makes good money. She just makes more. So he's paying all the bills. You're not spending any of your money. Well, you probably are on yourself and maybe a couple things around the house. But you're still complaining about his lack of ambition.
Right.
And this is why you have so many of these quote unquote entrepreneurs running around who ain't getting bad. They just call themselves entrepreneurs because it's a title that they think works with ambition. And I'm gonna say this too. As a 17 years married man, the best marriage advice I ever got. And fellas, if you marry a woman, you need to make sure she understands this. You are not, that chick was unhappy. You are not responsible for her happiness. She is not responsible for yours. Now, you should be contributing to each other's happiness, but you are not responsible for it. So if you are marrying somebody who is naturally miserable and unhappy, it doesn't know how to pull themselves out of it, that is the number one driver that's going to lead you to divorce and getting half of your assets taken. This chick is ungrateful. She doesn't deserve the blessings that she has. And a lot of women think like this. They're entitled to think that they deserve something like this, but then they turn around and disrespect the person who's providing it for them on these public platforms where thousands, if not millions of people are watching. Get this chick out of here. And now she put him in a position where if he stays, CR, he looks weak because she disrespected him. She openly admitted now he has to leave because if he doesn't, he looks weak. And she put him in that position.
Yeah, no, he's definitely weak. I agree. He is he's beyond weak, actually. This guy, you can't tell me this guy does not know his chick does not respect him. If she's showing him disrespect and she's not even like, just flat out showing him disrespect. Then I can only imagine what's going on at the household. Let me bring up these comments here real quick. So everyone agrees that she's a shitty woman, but no one is really like going after her or really trying to like check her, because Cam Newton was getting checked in his comments. People were talking about how he lacks discipline. And so, no surprise.
Well, look at those two bottom comments, TR. There's people definitely calling her out. Those two right there, you just scroll past.
Yeah, I am seeing the engagement, but it's on the light side of things, though. Like, oh, hey, is that Tasha? Who's that girl? The dating chick.
Oh God, I forgot her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, this is. I see people are calling out though, but when a man does some stuff like this, MC, it goes a whole nother level. They start going after this dude. He's all over the place. People are just engaging and just, hey, dropping a comment, liking. It doesn't become a like.
That's her name. Sorry.
Yeah. It becomes a life of itself in itself when a guy goes viral. There's a reason. What's his face? Top G dude. Who is that? Who got canceled?
Andrew Tate. There's a reason Andrew Tate went viral, because he struck a chord and all these women and all these simp enforcers got upset. I'm not saying I agree with everything what Andrew Tate said, but am I going to try to deplatform him? I don't agree with anything Nick Fuentes says. I'm not going to deplatform him. I don't think that's the way, because when it's the guy saying these things, it's always deplatform. When the guy is saying some stuff you don't agree, deplatform, or they got to skirt around it. They got to dance around it. And to some degree, like Cam, you got to go the, you can't control your urges route, instead of educating and just saying like, hey, these are the concerns I have working with women. Those are legitimate concerns. Most of we have a lot of relationships that end up going to HR because somebody crossed the line, or whatever the case is. So I think a lot of people do not give this enough, do not take it seriously enough. But that woman was way out of pocket. And then if anybody went easy on her, it was definitely that panel. I know they were trying to eviscerate her, but they should have went in. They should have went all the way in, because if a black guy had got up there and he just started talking like, hey, I have a problem with black women, the simp enforcers would have came out. They would have, or he would have said, I want to get with white women. All of them would have came out for him. He would have been viral. But she's talking about how her man provides for her, and that's not good enough, and she wants to leave him. That should also go viral. So one thing men need to realize, a lot of women are insatiable when it comes to happiness. It doesn't, you kind of said this earlier, but it doesn't matter what you do, they want more. Men are very simplistic at the end of the day. I think Bill Burr talks about this. We can turn on the TV and watch college or pro football all day, sitting on the couch, not necessarily having to do anything. That's a great day for a lot of us. Women aren't necessarily wired like that. They always got to be doing something. I look at men as straight lines and women as like the squiggle lines that are all over the place, right?
Yeah.
And you have to be mindful when you're dealing with the woman who's insatiable when it comes to happiness. Because if you find yourself chasing her happiness, you are literally going to kill yourself. You're going to exhaust yourself. You're going to stress yourself, and you're going to eventually resent her and yourself. So you have to be mindful of stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe she wants him to like jump into management or something like that. But as somebody who's used to work in management and now has gone back to individual contributor by my own choice, I might add, I'm telling you, managing a bunch of grown ass adults is a
worse.
Like they're adults on the outside, but they're little kids on the inside, and it's stupid and it's stressful. The types of things. I once managed somebody, TR. He wanted to take a week off of work because the chick that he was dating for 3 days broke up with him. 3 days. He fell in love with her in a 3-day window, and when it didn't work out, he wanted to take a week off of work. And this is a grown man crying to me in a one-on-one meeting.
Yeah.
And I'm not equipped to deal with that type of stuff, consistently and all the time. So some people are happy with where they are. If they got enough to cover their life, some men, I should say, they got enough to cover their life expenses. They got enough for savings, do a bit of traveling here and there. Some men are cool with that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, she's putting expectations on him that he may not even want.
Yeah, and another thing too, for some reason, women think they can inspire a man. No, you can't. You cannot inspire a man to want to do what he wants to do best for himself, best for his family. I know a lot of people love to say that shit when they're getting an award that so and so inspired me. I'm telling you right now, no matter what you say to this guy, he has to want to do it. You can't want it for him, and the prettiest words can't do it either. We have seen plenty of men that have had a family just say, you know what, I'm walking away from it for whatever reason. We've seen it. Or they're just, they don't fight for their family. Like, they got to want it for themselves. They have to like find it within themselves in order to, bring themselves up. Or we see a lot of men that have not honestly matured or elevated themselves because no one's pushing them. Like, if you need a woman to push you, you're already in bad shape.
I think this is where we might partially disagree, because I believe that a woman will either inspire you or manipulate you, but she's going to do one or the other. There's no in between there.
I mean,
inspire.
I should strike that. Inspire you to want to do better for the family, because the man has to want to do better for the family.
Oh yeah. If he don't want to do it himself, then it ain't happening. But a woman who knows what power she has in her femininity and uses it to inspire her, it could be something as simple as, hey, you're going to kill it today. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I can easily tell the women who speak life and success to their men versus the ones who don't. It ain't hard to tell.
Yep. Be amused.
Yeah. But again, this chick is entitled. She doesn't deserve the privileges that she has. And I'm not even going to say it's out of the realm of possibility that she self-sabotaged and knew that's what happened by doing this conversation. Maybe she hoped it did get back to him. And maybe now they're having these divorce conversations. I've seen a lot of people self-sabotage relationships.
Hey, I can tell she's cheating on him. She is definitely cheating on him. So
insatiable, man.
Good luck to that guy.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl. I know, for the most part, the dust has settled on the Super Bowl, MC. I know you were traveling. Did you ever get a chance to watch the Super Bowl, or at least some of the viral parts?
I watched the halftime show. I watched some of the commercials, and I watched highlights of the game. I was in an airplane as the Super Bowl was being played, so I missed most of it.
Yep. Did you get a chance to take a look at the Turning Point halftime show?
No, I had no desire to see that lineup. I wasn't impressed with it at all.
Did you know it was happening, or you just didn't said,
Yeah, I knew it was happening. I think Kid Rock was the headliner, and there were a couple of openers in front of him.
Yeah. So my opinion is that we have I did see both Super Bowls. I watched both. I had them both streaming at the same time. I was watching, like, if you like country music, I think most people would have enjoyed it for the most part. But when it comes to like this thing, first of all, I'm just gonna go down the list of you hypocritical, lying ass, fake ass motherfuckers, because we're gonna start with the blacks. Like, you motherfuckers, god damn, Jay-Z is your guy, and Jay-Z has been anointed as, he's gonna bring in all these black acts, okay? And for whatever reason, and everybody knew this Bad Bunny motherfucker did not have or did not speak English. But for some reason, black people want to get on board with like this whole thing with, it pisses off white people or MAGA or whatever the case is. So I'm down with it. And then you had this Kendrick Lamar concert just do numbers. And I was on the fence where I was like, I just want to be entertained. I don't want to go on Wikipedia and try to look up some dumb shit, figure out what this meant. I don't want to do any of that. Just entertain me, and I don't want any subliminal messages. And here we are again with subliminal messages. And I had a bunch of people telling me, like, if you had known the message, blah, 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 you would have got it. I'm like, I know, but I don't get it. So you're telling me I need to go watch the Super Bowl again now that I know the information? And I get it. Some of the stuff is, hey, if that's your heritage, I can see why you liked it. I can see why people that understood him and they grew up in that part of the world or the land, I understand why people, enjoyed it. But it wasn't a Super Bowl for everyone. And for some reason, we've gotten away from like trying to do a Super Bowl for at least the majority of people. And we're just catering to a small minority of people. I don't give a fuck what people say about Spanish. In America, English is the majority, is the language of the majority. So I don't hear give a shit about that whole thing about, how Spanish is spoken, in a lot of parts in the multiple parts of the world. You're in the United States and you're doing a Super Bowl, which is one of the most American things you can do. And you decide to say, hey, this is something that we're gonna do because we want to show heritage. We want to show a different diversity of people. No, I don't care about any of that shit. I just want to be entertained. And then we get to the white liberals. You motherfuckers didn't enjoy this shit either. This is why this is why none of your favorite acts are ever going to be on the stage. You can Tom Petty and Coldplay, hey, forget about it. You're never going to see those people ever again. It's only going to be a black or a brown or a Korean or somebody from a K-pop group is going to do the Super Bowl. So you want to talk about how great this was? All right. You're never going to see one of your favorite acts again. I think the one time they had was it the Rolling Stones? I don't think it was Rolling Stones. I forget. Anyways, the point is there won't be a white band ever. There won't be a white artist doing the show ever again, unless it's like Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish. That's as far as it gets. So if you were hoping to see one like a Metallica or something, it ain't going to happen.
So I look at this one or two ways. I was going to skip the Bad Bunny show. I was really going to skip it. I had no intention of watching it. I talked to some trusted people that I know will give me an unbiased opinion on it. And they said it really wasn't what you thought it was going to be. Check it out. So I turned it on thinking I was going to see a whole lot of pandering. And to be clear, TR, a lot of these artists tell subliminals. They tell stories and they put subliminal messages. So I was expecting that. But from what I saw, he told a story of his culture and his history, how it evolved from slavery, what it is today. Okay, fine, whatever, no big deal. In terms of him not speaking English, I see this as a strategic play because Spanish is one of the most spoken languages in the world. Bad Bunny may not necessarily be popular in the US, but I think the NFL is trying to do what the NBA is doing to their own detriment, which we'll talk about another day, is they're trying to expand and get a global audience, right? And I looked at the most recent ratings, TR, and 2 points about what you said earlier. I looked at the top 10 most watched performances based on the Nielsen ratings. First of all, there are 4 white groups on here. Katy Perry's at number 6, Lady Gaga's at number 7, Coldplay's at number 8, and Madonna's at number 10.
Yeah,
so there are still some white liberals on the list.
But that was before Jay-Z took over.
That was before Jay-Z took over. And
you
to be
haven't seen a
clear,
group show up.
Bad Bunny finished at number 4. I mean, he's still surpassed by Usher, Michael Jackson, and Kendrick Lamar, but he's number 4 right now. So we're talking about results and not feelings here. 128 million people watched this Bad Bunny stuff. I suspect most of them were men that just left the TV on and walked away. But regardless, 128 million people watched it. So did Jay get the results?
I mean,
sure, Roger Goodell is happy with that. But here's my caveat, TR.
Yeah.
Turning Point USA has 6 million viewers. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot to a bunch of people. But what I'm telling you is all the conservatives are missing right now is good music. They got to get something else popping besides country and Kid Rock. I like country music, but most of the world does not. And all they need is some good musical lineup. And this Super Bowl show is going to be challenged in the future. I promise you.
Yeah. See, MC, you keep saying conservatives. I'm telling you, Black people did not rock with that. I saw plenty of Black people talking about how they did not like this show. It was during Black History Month. We can't have any Black acts. The Super Bowl was made, or the Super Bowl rose to prominence because of Black people. MJ is the one who kicked it off. So
Well, let's go back further than that. The reason why they started doing this in the first place was because In Living Color did a Super Bowl halftime show. It was stealing viewership away from the actual
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So they used a black person to take down another black person, if we're being honest about it.
yeah, and so it's a lot of manipulation, and it's going to be difficult to, Michael Jackson's going to be on there on a halftime show. That's a little difficult to try to turn off the TV. But yeah, it took but to your point about Turning Point getting 6 million viewers, if A Living Color kicked it off by competing with the Super Bowl, competing with the NFL, you fast forward 2 decades later, you have Turning Point USA competing. They weren't even supposed to get like 6 million. I saw about 6 million people active in the views. Well, it was more like 5.8, 5.9. But that's a lot of people during the Super Bowl at one time. And I don't know what the final number turned out to be, but the NFL needs to be somewhat worried a little bit though, because if Turning Point, and they put this together in within a few months, they didn't have the whole year. The NFL needs to be concerned that if they start taking advertising dollars, I forgot what the money was for a commercial spot. Maybe it was like 8 million or something, or 6 million or something. But Turning Point proved, and A Living Color proved it first. Turning Point proved that you can still compete with the NFL. And to your point earlier, you're right. Get some other acts, and it doesn't have to be country. It could be pop. It could be, and I think Turning Point may have some trouble because if it's sold as this is a country music festival or something, you're probably going to lose a little bit of people. But
Yeah.
I'm okay with them doing whatever. They have the Puppy Bowl. If you don't want to watch the Super Bowl, you can have the Puppy Bowl and watch dogs play around or whatever the case is if you don't want to watch any of that stuff. So I'm okay with them doing it. And the NFL needs to, the NFL doesn't have to worry about really losing numbers, but you do have to worry about losing advertising dollars, because if I can get the same result by going to Turning Point USA and pay a small fraction of that and still get the same outcome, then I'm going to go to Turning Point USA. They're going to lose market share. And there's a time where the NFL was thinking about charging artists to perform at the Super Bowl. That's how crazy big they've gotten over these last few years. And and it's good that Jay-Z was there, but to bring in some different types of acts though, but he missed the mark on this one. And for everyone saying that he's supposed to be pro-black, no, he pro-dollar. He's always been about the money. And so the whole thing with Kendrick Lamar, and that's the other thing too, black people swore up and down this was the absolute one of the best halftime shows. Well, how's that possible if you're saying fucking Bad Bunny is one of the best halftime shows? That's what I don't get.
We've done such a good job at inserting ourselves in battles that we have no business being in, that it almost makes you look stupid. I saw a video compilation. There was somebody going around asking NFL players who are mostly black and supporting the halftime show, tell me your favorite Bad Bunny song. And I think only one of the 25 people that they interviewed could even name a song.
Yeah.
And I don't get why you have to insert yourself in stuff like this. And you're right. Jay-Z is money first. He wouldn't be where he is if he wasn't money first.
Yeah.
Goodell ain't trying to push no pro-black message. He's trying to push a pro-dollar message.
But people got it. Well, NFL, they have racism in the fucking end zone. That's so stupid. But
that's a cop out though, because that's a passive statement. Most people want racism to end.
Yeah. So people are going to have to stop saying Jay-Z is for black people. Lately, I've been hearing a lot of crazy things about Jay-Z, the alleged things about Jay-Z. And you keep telling me Jay-Z is for the people, and I have yet to see Jay-Z is for the people. And let's not forget about the elevator incident that everyone wants to act like has never happened. Because had that been anyone else, you'd be bringing up every single time. But for some reason, Jay-Z's getting a pass.
And let's not forget, TR, the conservative side, they've tried to reach out to black artists and black acts. Let's not forget, Chrisette Michele, the first time Trump got elected, she sang at his inauguration and she caught a whole lot of hell for that, to the point where she had to do a radio tour and apologize. Now let's talk about something more recently. Ludacris and Nelly. They were talking to the conservatives about performing, and guess who got at them and got them to pull out? The pro-blacks.
Yep. I don't get it. But hey, if they don't want the money, I mean, I don't know who else is checking for Ludacris like that. I think Nelly. I mean, they might be doing other country fair shows. I guess if that's what they want to do, hey, be my guest. I thought you guys were about getting paid. This is not. It wasn't even supposed to be a political thing. It's just because Chris Rock or Kid Rock was connected to it. But hey, you know, if that's more important to you, because they ain't making another Fast and the Furious movie, and Nelly, you just had a baby, so I'm not saying you're broke, but you can't be turning down money either.
I mean, for what it's worth, I wouldn't want to work with Kid Rock either. But the money talks, man. I could put my grievances to the side and get the bag at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because we need to be more strategic about making these parties compete for us instead of being on one side and being the political booty call that we are right now.
Man, it's just crazy because I was just blown away to see how many people got on board with this. I'm like, you would never get on board. That's the reason Jay-Z it was even involved with NFL, because Coldplay and I forgot the other group that was up there, but people started complaining about the Super Bowl. And these guys are speaking in English. So
Yeah.
just because it wasn't rap, because it wasn't pop, now you don't like it. But I mean, we don't really have too many rock bands get up there, and there's plenty of amazing rock bands that could definitely sell out do a great job for the Super Bowl. But because people are going to get upset, the black people are going to get upset, and for whatever reason, that becomes a storyline. That was the only thing I heard after the whole Coldplay incident, Coldplay Gate, was that we need to have somebody in there that can definitely bring in some great superstars or whatever. And then Jay-Z came in there, and he was good for the most part. I didn't like the Jennifer the J-Lo and Shakira. I think that
You didn't like that?
I didn't like it for a different reason. I think J-Lo is definitely past. I don't think people are checking. J-Lo's not that great of a singer. Like
She never was. That's not why people like her though.
Man, I like to be entertained to a degree, but J-Lo, she's had like a bunch of. It's because of all the other.
CR, do you remember that halftime show? There's one part in particular.
I
know you remember.
I know what you're saying. I'm saying the baggage with J-Lo. She's always engaged. She is acting like, she always acts like a victim. Like, I just do not want to like see her on anything. When J-Lo shows up in the feed for anything, skip. And it's generally because of a divorce.
I mean, she always makes herself the victim. I mean, she's a liberal. What you expect?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why it's hard to watch someone like J-Lo. It's very difficult to watch a lot of these celebrities and athletes because they're doing all this stupid shit trying to pander to the mob. But it's unfortunate.
I tell you what, man, I'm very surprised Dr. Dre is not on this top 10. I'm looking at this list for views.
Oh,
He's not even in the top 10.
I don't know where you got that. I just thought you just didn't mention. I was thinking it was like in the top 3 or something. That was one of the best Super Bowls that I've seen. Like, and MJ is still number 1, but it's in my top 5 for Super Bowl shows.
Well, in terms of viewership, Kendrick has surpassed MJ barely, but it's close.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I know a lot of people loved it, and he put a lot of work into it. Like I said, I'm just old fashioned. I just like to be entertained. I don't like to do all the, you got to get on, you got to ask AI, hey, what does this mean? And where's this stuff? I'm done with all that stuff. Just sing, entertain, and be a great performer. That's all I ask.
Yeah, I listen to Latin music on occasion. I study Spanish a little bit too, and there's some dope music, but I've not ever heard a Bad Bunny song. I didn't even know who Bad Bunny was until y'all made this a political issue. And by y'all, I'm talking about the left. I had no idea who Bad Bunny was until y'all started hyping him up on some political stuff, not on some talent stuff.
Yeah, it just tells me that people, as long as it pisses off Trump or conservatives, people get on board. And it's like, I know, like, I just know this to be true, but people are just fucking hypocrites though. I hope they're bringing a K-pop group. That shit will be really funny.
And I hope people understand why people don't want politics in sports. Life is hard enough, man. People watch sports to unwind, relax, and get a temporary escape on what's going on in the world. That's why you see all these people freaking out about politics and sports. And let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, these athletes that speak out, they don't know what the hell they're talking about anyway.
And
Y'all just worship them because they're athletes and they have money.
the politicians barely do. Shout out to AOC at the Munich conference.
Oh man, yeah, I saw that too. Oh
Word
boy.
salad. All right. We are going to jump actually into some politics, and we're going to talk about your girl, Jasmine Crockett, MC, out of Texas. You know what's funny? I would have never, in this year, I would have ever thought that
this afternoon.
I would have never thought that this would be the year we have to defend Jasmine Crockett, because the Democrats are trying to Bernie Jasmine Crockett in Texas for her Senate bid. Do you recall what happened to Bernie Sanders when he ran for president, MC?
They strong arm Hillary in there, and people like Donna Brazile and Debbie Wasserman Schultz gave Hillary the cheat code to skip over Bernie and slide right into the nomination.
Yep, they did several things. People forget about Donna Brazile giving the answers to Hillary Clinton like that was no big deal, and she still lost. But also what they were trying to do is when it came down to like, it was Bernie Sanders, and I think this was like 20 I forget the year it was. Maybe it was like, was it 2016?
Yeah, it was 16.
Yeah. So it was Bernie, Hillary, and I think Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren was still in it. And essentially what they were doing is Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders had the same ideologies. So they were splitting the votes up, and Hillary had her own ideology. And so there was a deal made in the Democratic Party that Hillary is the next one up. And so in order to win the primary, Elizabeth Warren stayed in the election, or stayed in the presidential race until Bernie until Bernie didn't get enough votes to advance to win the nomination, essentially. So this is that's just one time they did to Bernie. They did to Bernie twice, where they screwed him over, and they asked Bernie to come out and say some few good nice words about Hillary and concede the presidential nomination.
Let's not forget about those superdelegates, TR, because their votes are more important than the average Americans.
Yeah, the superdelegates. There's no reason for the Democrat Party to have superdelegates. There's really no reason. It's not even the Republican Party. That's like the ultimate Chico. We need to have like a civics, like they need to bring back civics back in high school, at least at the high school level, because people don't realize how the Democrats have been screwing over the party for the last 10 or 15 years, though. But this is another example of the Democrats screwing their constituents over. So let me bring it up.
After watching a compilation video of people that couldn't name the 3 countries in North America and realizing they all have the same voting power as me, it definitely makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah, that's another terrible situation. All right.
About 2 white guys who are colluding to hurt the political career of an African-American woman.
And also, this is Scott Jennings. He was referring to a interview that was done on Stephen Colbert's show with I forget the guy's first name, but he's essentially a competitor to Jasmine Crockett for that Senate seat.
It's a sad story. It's a tragic story. The 2 white males are named Stephen Colbert and James Tallarico.
There we go.
And the African-American woman is named Jasmine Crockett. But this story began to unfold on Monday night when James Tallarico, who is a candidate for the United States Senate in Texas, running against Ms. Crockett, scheduled an interview on Stephen Colbert's late night program. And then the mayhem started. Colbert and Tallarico claimed that Donald Trump's FCC had threatened CBS not to air this interview. That turned out to be a lie, by the way. And they created this online frenzy Oh my goodness, Donald Trump trying to keep you from hearing James Tallarico? Well, it turns out the truth is that CBS's lawyers told Stephen Colbert, hey, you're pretty close to a primary election in Texas. And if you're going to have on one of the candidates, in this case, Tallarico, you really need to have on the other candidate, Crockett. Colbert did not air the interview. In fact, they put it on YouTube instead, but that was their plan all along, for Tallarico to claim he'd been banned by Trump. Here's the forbidden interview. Go watch it. And now they're touting having raised $2.5 million online. 2 white Democrats colluding to lie to you, all to hurt Jasmine Crockett. Let's listen to Jasmine Crockett. I can't believe it. I'm taking up for Jasmine Crockett. She's clearly been wronged here.
I actually received a phone call, and that was a little bit earlier today. And in that call, they explained that they actually told CBS that they could go ahead and move forward with the interview of James Tallarico. They just needed to offer me equal time. I did not get a request from the Colbert Show to go on.
It's kind of amazing, actually. Democrats showing absolutely no respect for Jasmine Crockett. I have to tell you.
See. MC, thoughts?
I said it before and I say it again. The Dems are going to split, and the Republicans probably will at some point too. How do I feel about Jasmine Crockett personally? I've said this before. I'm neutral on her. I don't see the difference between her and Marjorie Taylor Greene. They both act the same. They're clapback queens. They got into Congress. I don't necessarily know what their accomplishments are. I know Jasmine Crockett was a lawyer back in Texas. I don't know what MTG was doing, but they have similar personalities, so I don't see much of a difference. I also know that the Communications Act through the FCC specifically specifies that you got to do the equal time thing.
Right.
But I also know T.R. Scott Jennings is playing politics here. He has become so good at pointing out the weaknesses in people's armor. And just to kind of piggyback off of another example, recently he was on the panel show on CNN that he does with our girl Abby. And Abby was making all of these, somebody on that show was making all these points about the Voter ID Act and how it would disproportionately affect Black people in the wrong way. And Scott Jennings, the very first thing that came out of his mouth when it was his turn to talk, are you saying that Black people are too stupid? It can't go get IDs and become eligible to vote. He's good at that.
Yeah.
He'll take your argument and he'll use it to identify weaknesses in your party. So on the surface, it looks like he's defending Jasmine Crockett here, but really what he's showing the whole world is the Dems are confused. They still don't know why Trump beat them. Now they're starting to say that he cheated, but they don't get it. They just don't get it, that so many people are turning their backs on them. So he sees this. He's going to pour some fuel on his fire. Oh, the Dems are beefing with each other. They're disrespecting Jasmine Crockett. We got to roll with this because it's going to make them look even weaker.
Yeah, but
and they're going to enrage him. Go ahead.
Is he right?
He's right, but he's still strategic about his rightness.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think it's crazy that I'm only heard about this through on X, and when Stephen A said what he said about Jasmine Crockett, he wasn't even saying anything negative about her. He was just saying like, hey, you should go about this a different way. Come on my show. Let's have a discussion on it. He's invited her. Honestly, she should go on the show now and explain this whole situation. But anyways, everyone was on Stephen A's neck. It was all over on YouTube. It was all over on Facebook. It was all over IG. It was everywhere. And we can't find any of those. The Shade Room ain't covering this. I forgot who was the chick that was covering. She was on MSDNC. I forgot her name. But anyway,
take your pick.
The black chick on she got fired. Not Joy Taylor, not Joy Reid. Oh man. Anyways, the point is she was the one that had the most to say about Stephen A. Then you had all those zesty men talking shit about Stephen A. And here we are with Stephen Colbert, who is the white liberal savior. And everyone was whining and sad and crying that he's losing his show. He's losing his show because his ratings have plummeted on that show. That's why he's losing the show. Has nothing to do with Trump, has nothing to do with being conservative or whatever, or conservatives forcing their hand. The
You
fact
sure
that
Trump that involved in that, TR? And the reason why I'm saying that is, didn't he successfully sue that network to prove that they were colluding during the debates?
they were, if they're colluding with the debate, or if they're colluding, that means they're breaking the law. So if Trump did send something, that means they were breaking the law, or they were doing something we're not supposed to be doing. The only reason we're hearing about this story is that because the FCC, yeah, they're enforcing the equal time rule when it comes to a presidential election. Because for the last few election cycles, the networks, which is part of the reason why people feel the certain way about Trump, they have not allowed Trump to have equal time when it comes on coming onto these networks. And they've done a disservice. That's part of the reason why people think the way that they think, because they need black people to think a certain way. They need fucking these young voters, 18 to 25, to think a certain way. They need white liberals to crash out and think a certain way. They all need them. Once you give them equal time, once you give them an opportunity to listen to the other side, then people start realizing, like, hey, you guys are full of shit. You guys don't know what you're talking about, or you guys just want to tax me. You want to take my money. You want to open up the borders. You start realizing how full of shit the Democrats are. And so in this case, I ain't heard from any of the pro-blacks. I ain't heard from the NAACP. But when Stephen A said something, it was all over the place.
It's funny, real quick, TR. It's funny you mentioned how full of it the Dems are, because that is on clear display in New York right now. Mondami wanted to tax the rich. The governor of New York shut that down, who's also a Dem. So now Mondami's going back to the drawing board saying, well, I'm just going to raise property taxes instead. Yep. So all those people he promised he wouldn't tax, he's now taxing.
I hope he does. Because voting has consequences.
Or let's talk about that lady that won the governorship in Virginia over the black conservative, by the way. And the very first thing she did was raise taxes.
Yep. I hope she raised taxes 50%. I hope they keep raising the taxes. And I hope you lose your credit status, or you get a downgrade in credit status. I hope all that stuff happens, because y'all need to be taught a lesson. And for whatever reason, Trump, Orange Man bad, ain't going to cut it. And so this is and going back to Jasmine Crockett, again, I'm not trying to defend Jasmine Crockett like this, but they did the same thing to Bernie. They also did the same thing in this last election cycle with Biden, where you had Democrat headquarters that were taking people off the ballot, because you have to earn the nomination every election cycle. And now I get it. It's assumed that the current president, if there's a Democrat, they're going to be they're going to get the nomination. But no, there were people saying they didn't want Biden as the nomination. Multiple people said this, and they were all silenced. They were all censored from the Democrats, because they're like, hey, you're talking too much. We're going to put you to the side, and you're not going to get any of this money. You're going to get the black sheep treatment. I'm not saying those candidates were good, not those candidates would even go far, but most of the people don't even realize they had a choice to get Biden out of this mess, or at least have Kamala be on the nominee. Because Biden, all he had to do was say, like, hey, I'm not going to run, and they could have started having their primaries. But again, Democrats, and then I'm really, really upset that black people, everybody says Jasmine Crockett, she's a real candidate. People that support her, she's a real candidate. Most black people that support that are with the Democrats, they definitely know who Jasmine Crockett is, and they came out and defended her when Stephen A. and let it be a white person, let it be a white liberal, or actually a white Republican say something, they're on their head. Let it be and there have been white liberals that have been criticizing Jasmine Crockett. They're also on their head. But on this particular topic, they're quiet. It's like church mouse. So you can't hear anything. They're not saying anything. And we haven't heard from the Congressional Black Caucus. You sent me, I think it was you sent me a post that the Congressional Black Caucus, they have been fighting for the rights of illegals more than they have for their black constituents.
Yeah, that's
Like
facts.
they're not pro-black, they're pro-Democrat. And we have like a list of like Democrats just doing shady shit to black people. They're not the party for black people. You tell me the party that's going to be that will work with black people and also give black people a voice, and then I'll sign up tomorrow.
Yep.
But
and don't put Brandon Johnson in front of my face either.
yeah, I'll sign up
But
tomorrow.
going back to Jasmine Crockett, I am kind of surprised this happened to her at TR because they essentially had her labeled as the year next. Her and AOC are the year up next types. And
I don't know about AOC anymore.
AOC's got her own issues. She need to figure out why Trump won her audition before she lose her job. But Crockett, at the very least, they had the spotlight on her and they were giving her the alley-oop. I don't know who's up next for the Dems anymore. They seem confused. They seem to lack leadership and don't have a strategy. As a matter of fact, you called it, TDS or Trump derangement syndrome ain't going to win you the election. People want to hear how you were going to make people's lives better. First of all, you're going to have to prove that he did a terrible job. And then second of all, you're going to have to prove that you can make everybody's lives better, which is the conversation that you're not having. You're still trying to inspire fear because you think people are still dumb. And it didn't work last time, and it's not going to work anymore. Y'all try to send out Barack at the last minute to lecture black men and say, well, I'm going to get Michelle on y'all. Y'all being misogynistic. What nobody trying to hear that.
Barack ain't got that juice anymore. And that's a very good point too, because people lost their mind when Trump had that photo of the Obamas. Like, where are you at on this particular situation? If black empowerment is so important to you, where are you at for Jasmine Crockett on this? That's what I don't understand. It's
crickets. But you know what, TR, the Dems have pretty much expelled everybody from their party who had any type of potential to do anything significant. I mean, we talked about RFK. Oh, and by the way, they're about to roll out a cure for sickle cell. You guys really need to start watching these media things that they're doing at HHS.
Honestly, I thought
they're cooking, man. They're cooking.
Or you're talking about they're going to roll out something that's available to the masses?
Yeah, it's in clinical trials right now, but they believe that they have a cure for sickle cell, which, by the way, affects black people more than anybody else.
Yep. We got one more clip on Jasmine.
Information suggesting that the federal.
Look, we got a black guy right here, black guy right here. I don't know what she is. I don't know what this guy is, but black people are showing up. She has black people around her. And honestly, I don't know why Jasmine has made this. Here, I'm going to play the rest of this video and I'm going to come back to that thought.
The government did not shut down this segment. Number one, that is my understanding, that the federal government didn't shut this down, and we will.
She's giving Trump credit in this situation too. I mean, it is to her benefit to say this, but she's giving Trump. She's not saying Trump's name, but she's giving him credit on this.
Yeah.
Do an official statement once we get another official statement that we anticipate is going to be coming from Paramount. All right, so we will read what they say, and then we'll go from there. It is our understanding that Colbert.
I'm going to mute this. She has a plane flying over, and this is wild.
And this was because of a fear that the FCC may say something to them, and that there may have been advice to just have me on, and then they could clear the issue. It was my understanding that someone somewhere decided we just don't want to do that.
See, and this is the thing I have. This is the problem, and she, that's all we need in this situation. Jasmine had an opportunity to play the race card. She plays the race card any other fucking time. Why didn't you play the race card right here? She's still trying to play she's still trying to play be the good the black Democrat for them. I don't know why. This makes zero sense. No, MC. I've seen Jasmine Crockett on a lot of these. I'm not saying she was okay. I don't like people playing the race card, but this is the one time you don't play the race card. So you're telling me Jasmine Crockett has evolved past that answer? No, she always plays a race card. She's still protecting the Democrats.
which I don't get, because clearly they're not standing behind her on this, or at least not stirring
Yeah.
up a big enough storm behind it. I just wanted to, just being objective, I just wanted to give her some props, because typically she does play the victim or the race card. I don't mind if you call something racist that's actually racist. My problem is 9 times out of 10, y'all in y'all feelings,
Yeah.
and it's actually disrespectful to the people that actually are dealing with racism. That's always been my problem with it. But anyway, I just wanted to give her props here, because she could have took a less classy approach, but she kept it classy, and for some reason she's still protecting her party. So I don't get it, but
Exactly. She's
good for her.
protecting the party. Here, let me see if I can pull up the poll, see where they're at now. Because last I heard, Jasmine was ahead. Let's see. I might not be able to pull it up. Anyways, yeah, last I heard, Jasmine was ahead against James Tallarico. And so I think what I think is that with the Democrats is that Jasmine's their pit bull. When they need some work done, they call in Jasmine. When they need a viral clip, when they need her to go after Trump, go after MTG, but she's not in Congress anymore. When they need her to go off in pretty much any white liberal, a white conservative, they call in Jasmine to do the dirty work. And the Democratic Party has a history of calling on the black women to do their dirty work. The majority of the black women went after Trump. And right now, I mean, nobody's going to get arrested or disbarred. But Fannie Willis, I mean, she could be disbarred, allegedly. I better say that because she's a lawyer. But also Tisha James. I mean, I know that case that the DOJ brought against her fell apart, though, but that doesn't mean that they can't do it again. So you send a lot of black women to do your dirty work, and this is how you repay them. Like, again, I'm not trying to play the race card here. I'm just telling you what I've seen the Democrats do when it comes to black women. They just use them up, and then they act like they never existed. Because Donna Brazile, she was like one of the biggest Democrat people, and I get she gave them the answers to Hillary, but I ain't never seen her move ahead in the Democratic Party ever again. Who's the chick in Georgia, the Georgia governor race?
Oh, you're talking about oh man, I forgot her name. Give me a second and I'll pull it up.
Yeah. With her, she has never moved pretty far in the Democratic Party either. She's not a prominent voice in the Democratic Party, and they used her up.
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, Stacey Abrams. They used her up, and once she lost, they never brought her up again. So there's a pattern, there's a history of Democrats using black women, and once they've gotten wherever they need out of them, they just disappear. So
I will say this real quick, TR, because you cooking. I don't mean to keep cutting you off, but since you brought up Stacey Abrams, I want to give her some props too, because she did an interview a couple of months ago, and somebody asked her. Actually, they were trying to push a narrative that it was black men's fault that she didn't win when she ran, and she immediately dismissed that. So I kind of want to. She kind of took accountability, mentioned some things that she could have did better, and I respect that. I just wanted to call that out real quick.
Yeah, I mean, when was this interview?
That was like a couple of months ago. I didn't bring it up because it was something real quick, but
yeah, it was almost a decade when she ran, right?
It hasn't quite been that long yet, but we're close.
Oh man, that I want a lot of people. I just want people to wake up. I don't care who you vote for, but you have to understand that these people are not your friends. And right now, the black vote doesn't carry as much weight as it used to. So people, you're gonna have to create your own party in order if you want your voices to be heard and have some influence.
I don't care who you vote for either. All I ask is that you substantiate it, because my parents told me to do it, or because you tie your racial identity to it, ain't good enough anymore. You're going to have to talk to me about some policies, because that's all I'm trying to hear right now. I don't want to hear your complaining. I don't want to hear how you feel sorry for yourself and how you blaming the man for everything. I spent so much of my life doing that, and I'm done with that now. Give me some policies. Give me some policies to tell me why I should rock the way that you do. If you can't do that, I'll keep an open mind about it, but if you can't do it, we don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah. All right. That is going to wrap up the show. Final words, MC?
Yeah. PBD podcast, Valuetainment. They had Alex Jones on there
Oh
today.
shit! I gotta listen.
And I highly recommend. I don't agree with him on the Sandy Hook stuff, but I'm gonna tell you what, man. He been on these people's neck about the Epstein files for a long time.
He was right about Pizzagate.
Yeah, he was. He
He
absolutely
was
was.
right about it. Like, I agree with you. I don't rock with Alex Jones on a lot of stuff, but he ain't wrong every single time.
Yeah, and it's cold. Some of the stuff they doing to him is cold blooded, but he's still coming forward and he's still talking. I highly recommend you check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out too.
No doubt.
All right, peace, everyone.
Peace.